You got Alex Hormozi, Dan Martell, Stephen Bartlett, heck, maybe even Chris Williamson that you can throw into the mix here. 99% of the people that watch their content fail. I know this not only because I was a YouTube entrepreneur that didn't make any money for 7 years. I also know this because I've worked directly with a whole bunch of entrepreneurs that are starting out, and the main thing that actually stops them from winning is listening to these people. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 ways in which YouTube entrepreneurs fail. And don't worry, I'm not just going to leave it there. I'm going to show you the 5 main action steps that I personally took and that I have every single one of the entrepreneurs that I work with that are starting out take in order to break this repetitive cycle. If you don't know who I am, my name is Hadi Solomon. I run this company right here called Compass. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13. I was clearing about $1,300 a day. Then I lost it all because I had no idea what I was doing. Started 13 businesses that didn't really go anywhere until I started this business. I've worked directly with 4 Y Combinator startup CEOs, and I've rubbed shoulders with some of the biggest names in the industry. I don't say this to brag. I say this to let you know that you can watch this video in solace knowing that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. With that being said, let's get right into it. The first issue is that people that consume content watch videos instead of working on the constraint of the business. What is the constraint of the business? The constraint usually is the one domino that you need to push over in order to actually scale your business. For a lot of people, this is traffic. For some people, it's the offer. For some people, it's sales. For some people, it's client acquisition. Whatever the heck it is, YouTube entrepreneurs, all they usually focus on is watching videos, consuming all this information, and they get addicted to the consumption instead of focused on the execution of the constraint. And I'm gonna call you out here, yes you, because you are the biggest example of this. Why are you watching this video right now? This is gonna hurt my average view duration, but how'd you end up here? There's probably a constraint of your business that you're supposed to be working on right now that you're not working on because you're addicted to consumption. How many Alex Hormozi videos, how many Stephen Bartlett podcasts, how many Chris Williamson podcasts have you watched before ending up on this video right here? The second problem is chronic shiny object syndrome. See, the thing is, when you're exposed to all these different mechanisms, all these different vehicles that can take you to the point of making money, let me tell you a secret, all of them work. I don't niche discriminate, okay? My company works with people that help people get over addictions, that build funnels, that run marketing agencies, that are in SaaS. All of these things work. But when you're constantly being exposed to all these different visions, all these different ideas, you enter a state of analysis paralysis, and then you do jack shit. You just sit there consuming all the vast arrays of information. Even if you execute, you start off in one business model, and then you switch. Trust me, this happened to me so many times. I went from dropshipping to FBA to white label SaaS to starting an agency, all this shit. The thing is, if I had just stuck with one thing for long enough, and if I had just stopped listening to the people that were exposing me to all these different ideas, I would have actually gone somewhere a heck of a lot earlier. So the reason why I'm so fucking mad right now is because this habit of consumption and this chronic shiny object syndrome has wasted me years of my entrepreneurial journey. And look, I'm not a dumb person. I'm pretty smart, at least I'd like to say so. And I'm sure you are too. The problem is, when you are intelligent, you recognize all these different opportunities, and then you start justifying to yourself why this opportunity is better than the other. And by the way, this isn't just for entrepreneurs starting out. This is also for entrepreneurs that reach 10, 20, 30, 40K a month. Let me give you an example of an older gentleman, probably nearing his 50s, Daniel, that I worked with. He's in the financial services industry. Very old industry. He started an agency 3 months before he actually started working with my company. Why? You're 40 fucking years old. You have all this experience in said field. Why are you switching businesses? There was another entrepreneur that we didn't actually work with that I was talking to. He had a cleaning business, he had a VA agency, and God knows what else he had. I talk to entrepreneurs all the time. Oh, I have a marketing agency, but now I'm taking equity in all these deals, but they're just consulting deals. You're just distracted. Third thing, aesthetic perfectionism. When you have no viable next step, when you haven't properly identified the constraint of your business, what do you end up doing? You start procrastinating, but you write it off as perfectionism, as being an obsessive person, because that's what it takes to succeed, right? Wrong. You know how long it took me to make this logo? 0 seconds, because I didn't make it. This is all ChatGPT. But you know how long it took me to actually decide to start this company and decide to make this logo? Probably months. If I had just compressed the delta between my ideation and my execution, how much farther along would I be? Ask yourself that question. I see this with creative entrepreneurs so much. They're making ads building out landing pages. How long does it fucking take them to actually deliver, to launch? Sometimes it takes them months. It shouldn't take you months to launch a funnel. It shouldn't take you months to launch a website. It should take you maximum 2 hours. Now you might be saying, Hattie, what the hell? 2 hours is way too little. I gotta make sure that everything's right. Yeah, don't make grammatical mistakes on your funnel. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how in God's green earth are you sitting on your MacBook, working on a funnel, iterating things that you have absolutely no data for to justify? When you launch crap, the market gives you feedback. It gives you data. I like this, I don't like this. Then you iterate. You don't iterate before you have the data. And with mundane shit like a fucking logo, why would it take you more than an hour to make a logo? It shouldn't. I see so many YouTube entrepreneurs do this, spending so much time on logos, landing pages. It's a waste of time. Fourth, no metrics being tracked. And I'm not even talking about higher level metrics. Like even if you talk about CAC, like cost acquired customer, LTV, lifetime value, or these things are more advanced, sure. I'm talking about basics like inputs. Let's say you're doing cold outreach. I had an entrepreneur kind of starting out that we were working with, about 3-4K a month. I said, okay, how'd you get the 2 clients that you're working with at the current moment? He said, oh, I cold called them. I said, great. How many cold calls are you making? He didn't even know. How are you not tracking the #1 metric that dictates the #1 constraint of your business, which at the time is client acquisition? You don't have enough clients. Sure, you can say, I want to make my service better, but wouldn't it be better if you actually had clients telling you how to make your service better? They're not even tracking. You're not even tracking how many messages you're sending. You're not even tracking how much you're spending on ads. You're not tracking how many emails you're sending. How do you expect to solve the problem? No wonder you're addicted to consuming content with people showing you all these new opportunities. Instead of chasing all these new rabbits, if you just actually track the numbers, you'd have a much better idea of what exactly you need to do to get to the point that you want to get to. And the fifth thing, and this is so important, I wanted to make this a point in and of itself, advertising avoidance. Advertising fucking sucks. Everybody knows this. But at the same time, advertising is the #1 constraint for 99% of businesses. Again, as I mentioned before, some of you guys are making your courses or your products or your services better. You don't have clients. How do you get clients? You advertise. When you advertise, you have the data to actually iterate your service, iterate your product, actually make it better. Now, again, my job here is not to just shame you. I'm going to give you tactical action steps that you can implement literally by tonight so that you can start executing on the constraint of the business. The first thing, if you are addicted to consuming videos instead of working on the constraint of the business, this is what you want to do. Block YouTube. Yes, block the love of your life YouTube, and then schedule out on your calendar 5 to 6 hours where you're just working on the constraint of the business. Again, this can't be working on your logo, building out the newest, most beautiful landing page. What's the one thing that's stopping you from making money? Maybe it's your webinar show up rate. Maybe it's the fact that you're not making the calls. Maybe it's the fact that you're not sending the DMs. Maybe it's the fact that you're not spending on ads. Maybe you're not making creatives. Whatever it is, you schedule out 5 to 6 hours, eliminate literally everything else, which in this case is YouTube, block YouTube, and just work on that. And I don't give a shit if this is at the beginning of the morning, whether you wake up at 5 a.m. and then you take a cold shower and then you start these 5 to 6 hours, or whether it's late at night, whether it's 2, 3 a.m. You want it to be uninterrupted. Some people will tell you, if you want to be rich, you got to wake up early. You don't have to wake up early if you want to be rich. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs that live in Dubai because their teams are in London, because their teams are in the United States. They have to be up at 3, 4, 5 a.m. But they still have that uninterrupted time where they're moving the business forward. Every single entrepreneur that moves forward has this. But the thing is, all of the people starting out are so addicted to consumption, they never actually work on the constraint of the business. Second, chronic shiny object syndrome. I'm going to break a lot of people's marriages here, maybe not marriages, but I'm gonna break a lot of people's hearts here. If you have multiple businesses, please shut them down, except for the one that makes you the most amount of money. You know what the funny thing is? A lot of people that have multiple businesses are making $0 with all of them. If you're not making any money with any of the businesses, why do you have all of them open at the same time? And you know what the problem is? It's this mentality where you tell yourself, oh, I gotta have all these different eggs. I gotta put my eggs in different baskets. And then I'll see, which one of them hatches. You know what Charlie Munger, richer than me, richer than you, richer than probably 99% of people, the late Charlie Munger, he actually passed away. You know what he said? He said, put all your eggs in the same damn basket. Goes against conventional wisdom. Yes. Do you want to be a 1%er? Or do you want to be like a 99%er that says, no, I want to diversify. I want to put all my eggs in the same basket. He said, put all your eggs in the same damn basket. and then watch the basket. Same exact principle applies to business. Yes, later on, when you made a shitload of money, sure, be like Alex Hormozi. When he sold Gym Launch, and honestly, I think he made a mistake by starting acquisition.com, because I worked with some of the people that are on the back end. They understand how shit works. This fever dream of owning and running different businesses is absolute crap, especially if you're proactive. But shut your business down, commit to one funnel, one offer, one main presentation, whether it's a VSL, webinar, whatever it is, one main client acquisition system, whether it's cold calling, cold DMing, ads, whatever it is, and then scale that up to at least $1 million a month. Yes, I said it, $1 million a month, before you start switching to all these different fucking shiny objects, because each one of the 5 things that you're doing can make $1 million a month. Webinars can make $1 million a month. Dropshipping can make you $1 million a month. Amazon FBA can make you $1 million a month. Having a B2B service business can. Heck, running a webinar can, running a VSL can, low ticket or high ticket funnels can, selling a course can, anything can. But if you're running 3 to 5 different things at the same time, nothing will. Third thing, if you are stuck in this trap of synthetic perfectionism, making a beautiful logo, working and obsessing on your landing page or your service when nobody's fucking using your service, nobody's giving you any data so that you can actually iterate to the point where you're making money, this is what you want to do. You want to set an output-based quota and deadlines to launch quickly, okay? And this isn't just a school deadline where nothing happens if you don't actually hit it. You want to make it an equity-based deadline or some sort of consequence-based deadline. So let's say that Patty Solomon here is obsessing over his logo, right? I'm painting this damn logo. Okay, should I be painting the logo? Probably not. Should I even be making it using a template in Canva? Probably not. You know what I should probably do? Exactly what I did, which is ask ChatGPT to make the damn logo for me and get it over with in about 10 seconds. But let's say I'm painting the damn logo. This is what I want to say. I want to say, again, output quota. I want to have the logo, 5 different renditions, whether it's the vertical, the actual favicon, whatever the hell it is. I want to have that done by tonight. Output. Not input, output. Not I'm gonna work on the logo for 5 hours. I'm gonna have the damn logo done. Then deadlines, consequence-based deadlines. Not I'm gonna have it done by tonight. If I don't have it done by tonight, my business partner gets a percentage equity. Sounds scary, right? This is why 99% of people don't succeed, because they don't do hard shit like this. I swear to God, the only reason why you're seeing this video is because I am contractually obligated, if I have videos recorded, to ensure that they're posted, one every single day, one long form. This is how I built my business, with consequence-based accountability. I lose equity if you don't see this video. I lose equity if my ads aren't launched. I lose equity if certain outcomes aren't delivered. Again, output quota plus consequence-based deadlines. And here's a little tactical tidbit for you. If you don't have a business partner that can just take your equity's so easy because it's just, arbitrary. Not in the sense that, it's fake, it's just non-tangible. So you can instantly have like 1% leave you, 1% come to you, so on and so forth. You can enter into a contract with God. I don't know if you're a religious person, but again, this is something that personally worked for me in the businesses where I didn't have a business partner. You write it down, make a professional contract where you write down all the stipulations, whether it's making 100, sending 100 DMs, making the calls, delivering on the landing page, whatever it is. You make a contract, at the bottom you sign on it, make it all professional, gay to you, but this is what works. And again, set a consequence. Don't just say, I promise you, God, that I'm gonna do this. Say, if I don't do this, Y will happen, Z will happen. Z will happen, some sort of consequence. Next, if you are not tracking any metrics, you want to begin by tracking inputs. How much money are you spending? Get a simple spreadsheet, okay? Open a new tab, type in sheets.new. There you go, free Google Sheets. You want to have input. Just track how many inputs you're meant to be doing, whether it's DMs, calls, emails, money spent on ads, content posted, whatever the hell it is. Track inputs first. Start with 1, because I know 99% of people don't do shit because it's hard. You know how you do hard things? You make it easy for yourself to do. Once you start tracking inputs, then you want to start tracking 1 KPI a week. For those of you that don't know, KPI is a key performance indicator. Other than inputs, here are some important KPIs that you want to be tracking. The 2 main ones are your close rate and your churn rate. Everything else is second priority. Inputs, close rate, churn rate. Close rate, again, what percentage of leads that come in are you closing? Or what percentage of calls that you're taking are you closing? Second thing, out of the clients that you actually get, how many of them leave? What's the churn rate after an XYZ amount of time? And fifth, if you're stuck in advertising avoidance, I don't even know what to tell you. Just advertise, call, DM, message, post the content, whatever the hell it is, just do it, man. Like, I'm sorry, I know everybody says just do it. It's not very actionable, but again, I feel as though, but I promise you, if you follow all the shit that I told you before, if you actually block YouTube, schedule out 5 to 6 hours, if you commit to one funnel, one service, one avatar, one business, one market, if you actually set an output quota and deadlines to launch quickly, and you track your inputs, the only thing that all of that is meant to aid you to do one thing and one thing only, which is advertise. And once you advertise a shitload, not only will you get a lot better than if you just started watching one of these YouTube entrepreneurs' videos on how to close a sales call or how to make a script, you'll be much better than you would have if you just consumed content, and you'll be much richer than you would have if you just kept consuming the content. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, don't like the video. There's a comment section down below where you can leave all your objections, all your hate comments, whatever the hell it is that you want. That's it. Ciao.